Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume joins us tonight. Hey, Brit.
Hi, Tucker.
So what do you think the significance of this indictment, yet another indictment for lying, might be?
Well, the first thing that struck me about it, Tucker, was that this man is accused of a crime that happened during the course of the investigations, which is to say, no investigation, no crime.
Right.
And this is absolutely typical of what we have with special counsel and independent counsel investigations. They end up, as often as not, being after people for what happened during the investigation and not so much for the event or the crime or the issue for which the investigation was started in the first place. And that's where we are here in this case. That's also true of the Papadopoulos indictment. That's also
Yes.
true, and it's also likewise true that the Paul Manafort and associated charges were about things that happened before the campaign, which was supposed to be the principal subject, the events during the campaign, the principal subject of the investigation. So as you pointed out earlier, Tucker, we are pretty far afield here from the original apparent purpose of this investigation, which, if you're right, may be a good thing, but it is also gives you an idea of just what a wide-ranging and largely unaccountable force a special counsel investigation can be.
Imagine if Mueller decided in the course of this investigation to broaden his aim to uncover the extensive web of foreign influence on our policy, not on our elections, but on how we make laws and trade deals, et cetera. You know from spending your life here, that is extensive. I mean, that would be an enormous investigation, would it not be?
It would be an enormous investigation. I'm not sure what it would find. I'm not sure I quite agree with you about the extent of that influence. It seems to me, just looking back through the run-ups that I've seen to our military interventions and our major policy changes, that they have been widely debated in most cases. And
yes.
I'm thinking about the debates I witnessed on the floor of the House and of the Senate about these matters. And I must say to you, Tucker, maybe I'm blind, but I never detected dark foreign forces influencing the representatives and senators that I saw. I saw them arguing the things that were before the public and basically were the main elements you'd expect to be spoken of in the course of leading
I may be more cynical,
if he
but will you concede this, that everyone who lives here knows a ton of people, legitimately a lot of people, who are taking money from foreign governments to influence our policy in one way or another. That's not an unusual thing to do for a living here.
Well, it is certainly true that law firms and lobbying firms that do business in Washington are often hired by foreign clients and foreign interests. That's no particular mystery, and that's been, as you suggest, out in the open. The question I think that it raises is how really influential are they? And I think, based on what I've witnessed, I'm not sure they're terribly influential. And I might add to that, by the way, that speaking of things that are not terribly influential, if you look at the charges that Mueller has brought in this case, to wit principally the 13 indictments of Russian individuals that came out last week, and the size of the undertaking that was described in those indictments, it really doesn't add up to very much, not very much money, and not, so far as we can tell, very much influence. And, of course, these are 13 individuals who will almost certainly never be prosecuted. They're Russians, and Vladimir Putin, I don't think it will be disposed to extradite them to the United States to face Bob Mueller's charges. So there we are on that.
There we are on that. Brit Hume, great to see you.